Hello, so today I'm making a video that is going to be my first video in a really long time. Now I made a few other videos, but I just didn't upload them because I had stuff to do, whatever, I was busy. Anyways, and this is Carlito, just so people know, this is Carlito. But anywho's, today I want to make a video about Starbucks, and I don't really know what to call it, but I was like, I'm just gonna say the truth about Starbucks, how do baristas really feel, basically. And I laughed because I said, see, some days there's really good customers. Like a customer did this today because everybody said this looked like Big Bird and Cookie Monster. So a customer drew that on there, and I thought that was really cute and really nice. And yeah, so sometimes there's really good days, and sometimes, just like every store, there's days where you're just like, are you seriously kidding me right now? So anyways, whatever, we're gonna get into that and more, but let me just get right into it. So that's what this is gonna be. So I thank you for watching, and let's get right into the video. So firstly, I want to say I have technically been working at Starbucks for 2 years, technically. I don't know if 2019 is 3 or 2 years ago, but technically since 2019 I have been working at Starbucks. Not consistently, but technically, yes. So firstly, I worked at a Starbucks at a different store, and this is important to note because I only ever worked at Starbucks kiosks inside of stores and not at an actual corporate Starbucks, so I can only speak from my experience working at a kiosk Starbucks and not an outside proper Starbucks, so to speak. The reason I say this is because when you work at a kiosk as opposed to a corporate store, there's a lot of different things that are changed from the corporate stores, like certain ingredients and things, like the nitro machine. We don't have that at any kiosk I was at. They didn't have that. And there's certain pastries and sandwiches that the corporate stores have that we don't necessarily have. And then there's also a lot of stuff like scanning QR codes that we can't do because we're licensed through the grocery store or the bookstore or whatever store it is, rather than a corporate Starbucks. So when people get mad and are like, well, they did this and this and this and this and this at this store, okay, but that was a corporate store, we don't do that because this is just the raggedy little hobo shack kiosk and we only have so much. And that's why it also costs a little bit more there, because since they're licensed, they also have to pay the store they're licensing to, so that adds extra costs, and that means the drinks and stuff are going to be more, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, so anywho's, my first thing is what people I don't think really know, but maybe they know, is that you have to get barista certified. So that's when you get this pin, and apparently there used to be like a whole certificate and all that you get, but nowadays they don't really do all that. At least at the ones I've been to, I never really got, like the first Starbucks, the manager was really mean, she was really rude, she didn't try to help, and then she was like, I can't certify you, and I'm like, we're supposed to get an outside person, but whatever. She didn't like me, so basically I was moved to another department within that store. But now I worked there for a few months. Now I'm more consistent. I'm just at Starbucks. That's what I do. I'm certified now. And I said that's the first thing. A lot of people I don't think realize that you do have to get barista certified, meaning you actually know what you're doing. You know how to make drinks, and you know certain aspects of the job, and there's a series of online tests you have to take. So when people are like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, this and this and this, actually yes I do, because I had to go through that certification. And I'm like, did you go through that certification? Tell me. Half the customers, I'm like, did you? Because if you didn't, skedaddle.
People don't pay to see Reginald Dwight. They pay to see Elton John. Don't ever tell me how to do my fucking job.
Because, like, no. Anyways, as you know, the big thing now is people saying, how do baristas feel about the big, fancy, exclusive, blah, blah, blah drinks? Now, contrary to popular belief, everybody does not use TikTok, everybody does not use Instagram. I am one of those people. I don't use those websites, really. I don't have a TikTok account. I don't think I'll get one, because the cringe is not for me. So don't assume that everybody knows or has seen the video, because people come in there, they're like, have you seen that one TikTok with this drink, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, but I will happily make it. Like, to me, it's fun to make the big giant drinks. It's just, you have to order it with the right attitude, and don't think that there aren't drinks ahead of you, because even though I have only worked at small kiosks, we get built up there too, because people are obviously shopping around the store, but the store gets busy, so Starbucks gets busy. And especially with the pandemic, there's nowhere to sit, there's nowhere to go, so people are just like piled up in the thing. So you might have 12 drinks ahead of you, so don't just assume because you ordered this big fancy drink that everybody's gonna jump the line and make it for you and break their back to be like, here you go, your fancy drink, blah 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 blah. Because the thing is, I understand people want to experiment, I understand people want to have fun, but a lot of problems and the issue I have, especially with this generation, and this is why I say don't say all of Gen Z is the same and don't group it together, because I am of older Gen Z, so I was born in the year 2000, and I don't follow a lot of these cringy trends that you'll see like 17, 18, and some older people that are really like, it's not that you're too old, because you can always have fun. I'm not blaming anybody. But like some of these people are just hopping a trend and they don't really care about the drink or if it's good. They don't even really want it. They're just like, I want a picture of this, bye. And then the thing is, let me make it. Then they're like, you're not doing that, right? It's supposed to look like this, it's supposed to look like that. Okay, things mix together and we have 5,000 different ingredients and your thing is gonna get lost in the shuffle. And then the thing is, if you leave and come back, that drink is gonna look way different than when I first put it out there, than when it came back. So you have to note that too. If you want picture perfect perfection, because I do strive on making my drinks look aesthetically pleasing, and if you ever come to the Starbucks I work at, I do try to make these cute little drinks just in case people want to take pictures, because I know that's a part of the culture now. It's what people do. So I'm like, if you want a cute little drink, then I'll try to make it as cute as possible. But firstly, don't just stand there trying to fight me being like, no, because this and this and this. And then if you have a drink with a lot of specifications, please don't lean over the counter, especially during the panini press, and try to tell me that I'm doing it wrong. Like, if you taste it and you're like, hey, this doesn't taste how I wanted it, then okay, I'll remake it, whatever.
Rodrigo! You would see.
But don't order something and then come and say that's not what I ordered when you know good and well that's what you ordered.
And by that, I don't mean when people genuinely don't know what they want. Like, there was a man and he wanted a vanilla latte, but he was like, I want a hot frappuccino. And I was like, do you mean a vanilla frappuccino? Because he was like, yeah, it was vanilla and whatever. And so we made a vanilla frappuccino and he was like, oh, I didn't know this was frozen. This is not what I wanted. I wanted the vanilla. He was like, it has coffee in it and it's vanilla and it's hot. And I'm like, oh, you mean a vanilla latte because that has milk in it. It's whatever. And it was fine. We remade it and he was like, oh, thank you. But he also got to try a frappuccino and he was like, this frappuccino is good too. And I was like, I know it is because I always make my drinks extra, 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 extra good. And so, yeah. So if you do something like that, then we can easily remake your drink when you genuinely don't know what it was that you wanted and you're like, oh, sorry. So you could just either try a drink, not now because we have the coronavirus restrictions, but I don't know when they're lifting that. But if you don't know what something is, you could just look it up and then you can be like, okay, I want to try this, whatever, whatever. And you can try that. And if you don't like it, then we can remake you something else. But don't be those people that are obviously obvious scammers when you know they come in there every single other day and they just want a free drink because they're like, oh my god. Because they pick something oddly specific off the menu, like a matcha green tea latte, which nobody even likes or wants. And then they're like, ew, I don't want this. And it's like, you ordered that, so you know that's what you wanted because it's not something that anybody else even ordered because it's nasty and nobody likes it. But if you genuinely don't know what it is that you ordered, then yeah, we'll easily make a new one and try to get you something that you love and that you can be happy with. But if you're just being a scammer, then we know the difference. So please, for the sake of everybody, do not do that and just try to have as smooth and good a time at Starbucks as possible.
Like, there was a lady, she ordered a caramel ribbon crunch and she was like, oh no, this is not what I wanted. Why is there caramel on the bottom? They never do that. I'm watching my weight. This lady, half of these customers say that and I'm like, really? because yikes. The thing is, if you were really watching your weight, why are you in Starbucks? Starbucks is not a healthy place, first of all. Anybody should know this. People who are watching their weight, people with health conditions, people who are allergic to stuff, I cannot guarantee anything doesn't have allergens, because honestly, it's all made in a factory, and they mix God knows what in those mixing factories. So don't assume that, you know, this is 1000% whatever.
I blame this social media generation for making people think Starbucks is this cute little fancy sit-down restaurant when it may have been once upon a time, but Starbucks is literally like a glorified McDonald's for drinks. So I don't know why people are expecting us to have homemade, fresh made, fancy whatever stuff when it's literally all made in a factory. And we put the sandwiches in an oven, but it might as well be a microwave. So like one time I genuinely had a lady get mad because she ordered a sandwich, and this was at the other Starbucks I worked at, and they had grilled cheese sandwiches, and she was like, ew, I didn't know that you were gonna put that like that. I thought you were gonna cook the bacon and the cheese and all that. And I was like, where do you go where they make fresh made sandwiches at Starbucks? Like, these are literally fresh frozen defrosted and thawed the night before and then ready to put in the oven for 1 minute. So I don't know where she went, but yeah, no, we basically make McDonald's McMuffins and slap a Starbucks logo on them.
Now, what did I want to go into next? Oh yes, of course, like I said, the wait times. The thing is, not all Starbucks are the same. Some have like 4 blenders. The one I used to work at had 2 blenders. The one I work at now has 1 blender. So you have to note, if you order 8 Frappuccinos, I can only make like maybe 2 at a time. Maybe.
The other day, I found out that I could make 5 tall Frappuccinos at once. So there we have it. Also, this is random stock footage, so yeah.
If you order grandes or something, then maybe I can batch them and I can make a few at a time. But if you order 67 venti Frappuccinos, I don't know how long you expected it to take, but don't lean over the thing and say, hey, I have somewhere to be, I have somewhere to go, because that's a big thing too. If you have somewhere to go, don't go to Starbucks, because God knows how long you're gonna be in that line. Like, honestly, no. And then I can't say what time you should go in, because the thing is, it is what it is. Some days it's busy, some days it's not. It's just the luck of the draw, you know. It's kind of like winning the lottery when there's nobody in the Starbucks line and you're just like, oh wow, it's just me. Because sometimes it will be just you, and at that time, order whatever hippy dippy drink you want to buy, because honestly, sometimes it's boring back there and it's like, I haven't had a customer in 8 hours and I want to leave. So when you order something long when there's no customers, it's nice because we get to sit there, we get to be like, hey, this and this and this, whatever, it's cool, it's fine. Now, before I go, the last thing I wanted to say is the names. People always talk about, why do Starbucks baristas spell my name wrong? Honestly, when you're standing there, you start to forget who you even are, and you forget what the world even is. Like, if you're at the register all day, it starts to sound like Simlish. You don't even hear people talking anymore. Like, people are like, can I get a, and I'm like, a what? Like, I somehow imagine phrase that it is a Frappuccino that the person wants, and I can hear it. And then the thing is too, some people are like, can I get a caramel Frappuccino? And I'm like, what? And they're like, can I get a caramel Frappuccino? And I'm like, can you please talk at a normal level that I can hear you? And like, I can't judge anybody because I also have a tendency to do that. Like, I'm just a quiet person. I'm not loud in real life. Like, in my videos I talk louder so you can hear me, but in real life, when I go up to order something, I'm like, hello, can I please get a blah 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 blah, and people are like, hello, what? And I'm like, eh.
Hey. Hi. So Spielberg has said that the first time you heard your British accent was after the last take, after the last fight. You were known as a method actor. So when did you start the character of Lincoln, and what qualities did you...
And that's a hard thing too, because on the one hand, it's like, when people are really quiet, it's nice because you can barely hear them, it's nice. But then when people are way too loud, you're just like, why are you so hyped for no reason at 5 in the morning? Like, calm down. Like, it's good to be like that and like whatever, but Christ. Anyways, yeah. So basically my whole thing is just be nice as possible, because you never know what people are thinking about, what's going on. So just be nice to everybody, because truly, honestly, people don't really mind. Just don't treat people like they're your personal servant assistant, because they're not your personal They're not your slave. They're not a robot. They're a human being. People have feelings. People have emotions. If people mess up your drink, it is what it is. Because the thing is, you probably would have a mental breakdown working there for 1.5 days during a rush. Imagine somebody throwing you into the Starbucks rush. You never worked there before, and you're just like, so imagine how the employees feel. So just take that into consideration and trust and believe you'll have a jolly good time. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.